Alright, guys, so I guess we are live now. So, I guess this is my first live streaming on this. Well, to be honest, like I can see there are just completely zero viewers, and it's alright. स्टार्ट जो होता है वो हमेशा बिल्कुल स्मॉल से होता है. So the target is like we are going to study Python because I want to pursue my career in data science, right? And like if someone is there to keep an eye on me, then I believe that that like if अगर कोई भी है जो मुझे लगातार देख रहा है, लगातार मुझे सुन रहा है, तो फिर मैं थोड़ा ज़्यादा अपना इम्पैक्ट डाल पाता हूँ अपने काम पे. आई स्टिल रिमेंबर जब पहले हम एक घर पे मतलब पढ़ा करता था, मैं माँ थे पापा थे, सो टाइम टू टाइम आते रहते थे. फिर हॉस्टल में गया, हॉस्टल में भी एक बंदा होता था, मतलब जो रूममेट होता है हमारा, तो अच्छा रहता था. कोई ना कोई होता है जो आप के साथ में बस बैठा है, अपनी पढ़ाई कर रहा है, आप अपना पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, एंड इट्स जस्ट गुड कि कोई है आपके साथ में. सो कीपिंग दैट इन माई माइंड, क्योंकि पास्ट कुछ महीनों से कुछ पढ़ नहीं पा रहा था. सो लेट्स डू दिस. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग इट. फेल होता है वो बात की बात है, मेरा काम है ट्राई करना. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट इट, राइट? I hope I'm live on YouTube. I'm not sure though, but this eCam is showing me that I'm live. So let's just trust this server for now, or maybe I can check on YouTube. Wait a second. So here I have already opened live streaming here, but I will go here and I will write my channel name. So Kartik Gold, and if I write Python, then I should show my name. Yep. So this is my channel with 38 subscriber. Yeah, I'm live, so it's good actually. And what if I click here? So this is my channel with 38 subscriber. Yeah, I'm live, so it's good actually. And what if I click here? Yeah. So this is my channel with 38 subscriber. Okay, let's just stop this one because आप बार बार सुनोगे मेरी सेम रिपीटेड बातों को, वो लूप में चल रहा है ना. अभी जो दिखा रहा हूँ फिर वो दिखेगा, फिर वो दिखेगा. सो जस्ट कीप इट. हमारा टारगेट था कि हमें पाइथन पढ़ना स्टार्ट करना है. यस. सो एक्चुअली आई हैव क्रैक्ड दिस कोर्स. Sorry, course. I'm calling it course. I've cracked this bachelor in science in IIT Madras, and it's related to data science and programming. So currently I'm focusing on programming because maths and everything no one asks in the interviews. So let me introduce myself first. Like I'm Kartik Gaur, and I'm having around 3+ years of experience. I know little bit of coding. I won't say I'm a good level coder or anything. I just know a little bit of coding, and I'm good in SQL, Python. My first language was, or first love language was R programming, and वहीं से like data science का थोड़ा सा भूत सवार हुआ, and तब से मैं बस इसी के अंदर. शुरू में मैंने विप्रो ज्वाइन किया, मेड सम मिस्टेक्स देयर, फिर now currently I'm working in some other organization. It's a startup basically, but I'm working as a uh, RevOps engineer. Sorry, I'm in a RevOps team, but I'm working as a data analyst there. So that's pretty much about myself. So let's just dive into Python now. I hope it will help you too. So let's just do it. सो मैंने वीक 1 एंड वीक टू के अंदर था मैम. वीक 2 के अंदर भी कहाँ पे, लाइक लेट मी चेक. इंट्रोडक्शन टू इफ स्टेटमेंट, इंटरेस्टिंग साइफर, मोर ऑन स्ट्रिंग्स. यस, सो आई वन ऑन लेक्चर 2.7. सो लेट्स कंटिन्यू दिस, राइट.
We are now going to play around with strings and we're going to learn something nice.
Okay, so first of all I will increase the speed because I don't like slow things, so just space it up.
So let's start with our alphabet set and we'll call them alpha, and alpha will be all the alphabets: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So after this, when I say print alpha of 10, what will it do? Let's start with 0 maybe. It will print the first letter in the alphabet set here. Alpha of 0 will be the first letter here, right? Alpha of, let's say, I, and I'll say I equals 10. It will display the 11th alphabet, K. Then if 0 is A, 1 is B, 10 will be your K, right? Clear? So far so good. Now, just in case I go on like this, and I display the 10th alphabet, the I alphabet, and then display the alphabet after I, which is I plus 1, as simple as that. And then I say alpha I plus 2. Okay, then print alpha I plus 3. So what does this do? Let's see. If I start with I equals 0, it gives me A, B, C, D. Right? It's very obvious what this is doing. I don't have to explain it to you. Right? By looking at the code, you can tell me what exactly is it. I declare the variable alpha, which is a string A to Z, right? All letters in alphabetical order, lowercase. As you can see, all 26 letters are here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. And I say I equals 0, and I display alpha of I plus 1, alpha of I plus 2, alpha of I plus 3. If I were to do I equals 10, it will start from K, as you can see, and then go to L, M, N. Okay, if you go to 20, it starts from U, V, W, and X. The best part now is if I say 25, it will start with Z. Of course, alpha of 25 is Z. Well, you don't guess it right. Alpha of 26 will throw an error. Precisely what we see here. String index out of range. Your alpha is only 26 letters long, which means you can go to alpha 0 to alpha 25, you cannot go beyond that. While I equals 25, I plus 25 becomes 26, alpha 26 becomes outside the range. Precisely what Python is telling me. String index out of range, well, no problem. There's a way to sort this out. So what do we do? Observe. Let me delete this time being. And then say alpha of 20, and here's this. Just this, nothing else. Right? Just this. It shows U to me in the screen. It simply shows the 21st alphabet letter, which is U. As you can see, it's U here. Right? But then, if I say I equals 13, and then if I just print, let me just comment this. If I just print I modulo 26, this is modulo operator, right? It gives you the reminder when you divide a number by 26. So 30 by 26, the reminder happens to be 4. Observe. If I equals 26, I mod 26 will be 0. If I equals 27, I mod 27 will be 1 as it is displayed. Now you know where I'm getting. What I will now do is I'll print alpha of I modulo 20, okay? And then when I say I equals 25, it displays the 25th letter, right? I'm sorry, 26 here. I want 26. The 25th, I equals 25 means the last alphabet Z here. But the moment I say I equals 26, it goes to 0, because 26 modulo 26 is 0, and alpha of 0 will be A. Correct? Let's see what happens when I say I equals 27. 27 modulo 26 is 1, so alpha of 1 should be B, so on and so forth. So do you see what's happening? If I type alpha of 24.
Okay, so what's happening here? Like, I hope you already get it. So in string, the first character will be at the position 0, so A would be on 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. So there are 26 characters. If A is starting at 0, then Z would be on 25th. And now the instructor is telling us to divide it by 26, and the remainder would be again this number, because like there are like 25 and if I divide 25 with 26, the remainder would be sorry, if I divide 26 by 26, then the remainder is 0, right? So wait, let me show you. So first of all 26, then modulus. So this is actually will give you the remainder part. If you run it, then the remainder is 0, and 0, what is 0? So alpha 0 is alpha 0, right? So it should print A. So A has been printed. Same goes here. If I'll write here like alpha 26 mod 26, then it should print A. But if I'll go 27, so 26 mod 27 mod 26, so remainder would be 1 and 1 would be B, so it should print B. So that's what instructor wanted to tell us. And what would be the use case of this? So use case would be like anything that is like related to, like if any for loop or any while loop runs on this particular string and we don't want to go out of it, or like he's telling like in any program the problem is to find if we run a loop on this one, okay, और loop को run करने के बाद में अगर let's suppose someone is asking me कि 175th पे कौन सा कैरेक्टर आएगा, so फिर उसके बारे में हमारे पास में लाइक हम ऐसे बार बार कर थोड़ी ना सकते हैं, लाइक सो लूप लगा के कर सकते हैं, बट दैट वुड बी अ वेरी लेंथी प्रोसेस. उसको जो हमारी मशीन है उसको भी काफ़ी लोड आएगा. सो लाइक स्पेस कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी और टाइम टू कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी वाला सिस्टम आ जाएगा वहाँ पे. सो वो हमें नहीं करना है, सिंपल. तो क्या करेंगे फिर वहाँ पे 26 का मोड लगाएंगे नॉर्मल एंड ऑल सेट. फिर अल्फ़ा एंड आई टोल्ड यू रिगार्डिंग 172, देन मोड 26, राइट. तो फिर अभी क्या आएगा, दैट वुड बी क्यू. सो जब हम वापस से ऐसे 25, 26, 27, 28 ऐसे करते जाएंगे तो 172 पे कौन सा करेक्टर आएगा, दैट वुड बी क्यू. ओके, सो दिस इज जस्ट अ सिंपल use case, I would say.
Alphabet, which is y, correct? And I say alpha of 25. Good way to do this is call this 24 and keep calling these I. And they all run the same. I'm trying to do it in a way that it's easier to mind. It's good to use variables as much as possible, right? So alpha 5, alpha 24, alpha 25, alpha 26. It should be y, z, and a, correct? Think about it. Yeah, I get y, z, and there is an error. Why the error? Because I did not do modulo 26. When I do modulo 26, it will not go beyond.
There is another thing. So if we'll do like 170 plus mod 26, if it does not do this, only just 172, so that's actually wrong, because there are just 26 characters and 27th would be like out of index, and that would be an error, right? So that's why just simple mod 26 Q and it's all set.
Beyond 25, right? If it's beyond 25, it becomes 0. 26 is 0, 27, 26 is 0, 27 is 1, 28 is 2, and so on. I modulo 26. I hope this is clear to you all. Pretty simple. I'm in fact going very slowly, assuming that some people modulo operator will do, right? Okay, so y, z, and a. If I were to make I equals 25, you see 25 mod 26 is 25, which is z, alpha of 25, and a, b. You see it's getting rotated because from a, b, c, d, e, f, g, h, i, k, l, m, n, o, p, q, r, s, t, u, v, w, x, y, z, a, b, c, d, e, f, g, h. After z, it's again starts with a. So this has a very interesting application, which I'll tell you in a minute now. Okay, so yeah, so far so good. Now what I will do is I will take my name. Okay, you can take your name. Alright. So I said s equals Sudarshan. What I expect to see as an output is I want to print T V E B S T I V O. You know what this is? This is simply count this. I expect to output T V E B S T I V O. What is that? This is exactly one letter shifting of the string, right? S U D A R S H A N. If you shift that by one letter, you will get this. And whatever you want to type here, right? India, Chennai, your name, your friend's name, and
okay, so TVE is TV. Okay, so in S, if we will add just 1, so it will become T. Then in U, if we add 1, then it will become V, so TV. Then in D, if we add 1, then it will become E, so TVE, because in D we have added 1, then E. Then in A we are again going to add 1, so okay, in every character we need to add just one index, and then we need to show that word, that which word it should print. So how we can do that? First of all, we won't just directly see into the answer, that just made on our own. So he has printed there like the name is Sudarshan. Okay, and the output that we expect is something TVEB. Okay, yes. So what we can do here? First of all, let me make it small. So I'm thinking that to find the index of this thing into alpha or alphabet string, first I will find out the index value. Okay, and then I will increase that index value to 1 and add it, and we'll see that at that particular index which character we can find, and then that character I will keep on appending with respect to the further indexes. So let's just find index, right? So in alpha dot index, I want to find name I. So here I am going to write for I in name. Or I can directly write I suppose, just normal I. Yes, and that's it, I guess. And I'm going to use a flag here, so flag will store that particular index number, and then we are going to increase it by 1, and then again we need to check it into the alpha. So alpha flag, right? And I need to create an empty string, so this is empty string. Okay, now alpha flag will give me the character, so I need to write empty plus equals to. Okay, so it should append it, and in the last I'm going to print empty, because in last, after for loop will complete, it should not be empty. Now just run it. So this is TVEBSTIBO, and here also it's the same. So sometimes don't just completely watch the video. Sometimes you need to use your brain, and it will give you satisfaction and confidence and learning for sure, right?
Any English word, it should shift it by 1 letter. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, so it's simple. Let's try it out. As you know, I'm going to use this string function called index, which we have discussed recently. So I believe you know of it. If not, please go ahead and revise your previous videos and understand what index is. It's basically self-explanatory. You need not go through it, but in case you're in doubt, you can go through it. So let us start. I'm saying T will be my new string, where I'll be creating 1 letter shift of this string that I have here. How do I go about it? I first say, I'll check S of 0. What is it? And what is its index in alpha? So So S of 0, let's see what this does. Patiently you must observe. S of 0 is S, correct? The first letter S. And what is its index? What is S's index in this alpha? I mean, which alphabet is S? If A is 0, S is what? Let's check. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is 18. Let's check that. Print alpha of index of S of 0 has to be 18. Yes, it says 18 here as it is. Right? So, display the screen. So, fine. So, alpha of index of S of 0 is 18. And what I want to do now is, I do not want S of 0, I want one shift of it. But then when I shift by 1, I explain the problem that you will encounter. Right? Just like close the bracket that I opened. I hope I'm right, only one bracket needs to be closed. Okay? So, now this will print the index of S and plus 1 to it. Okay? And what's the alphabet? I basically want the alphabet, right? So, for that, I may have to say, there's a number, so S of so much. Okay? And I want to print this. Maybe I've used one extra parenthesis. Good. The more the parenthesis, less the confusion.
Okay, so after looking this mode 26, I have found one thing. Where is my, yes, so here is
Close the bracket that I opened. I hope I'm right, only one bracket is closed. Okay? This is good. The more the parenthesis,
mode 26. I have found one thing. Where is my, yes, so here is
close the bracket that I opened. I hope I'm right, only one bracket is closed. Okay? This is good. The more the parenthesis,
mode 26. I have found one thing. So we are live again. Okay, I'm sorry for all kind of troubles. I'll definitely going to learn this eCam stuff. Without this, I don't think I can, like without this learning, I don't think I can come live again and again, because that would be very bad experience for you. So yeah, so I was telling you that after looking at this mode 26, I figured out that like if I'll add Z here, so when this for loop will go at Z, it will take its index as 25, then it will come here and the flag is 25, then it will add 1 26, and 26 will be written here, alpha 26, and there is no value at alpha 26, so it should return error. Let's see. It's, yes, so string index out of range. So that's why we should add one thing here, and that should be mode 26. So where should I add that? Here I guess, suppose flag 26, and if I'll run it, then yes, got the same result.
so this should print index it out of range. What is happening? So there's a small mistake in programming. I should not display S. I should say alpha. Why? That's because I take the first letter of S. Very simple. Let's look at this. Convert this to plain English. I look at the first letter of S. Look at its index in the alphabet. What is its number? Right? Whatever is S of 0, it is S. What is its number in the alphabet set? I add 1 to it and then display that. By display that, I mean what is the which alphabet is that when you add 1, when you shift by 1 unit? What alphabet do you get? Whatever it is, you will see that here. So it is T. Right? Execute this. It is T. If instead of expression, I will say, let's say India, I becomes J here. Right? That's the first letter. And what I want to do is, I want to print this, I want to append this to T. So what I do is I say T equals T plus, remember? Plus of a string, appends that to it, right? If I say print T, it will show me J. Correct? So first so good. So then next, let's say I'll try to take the next letter, which is S of 2. So for that, a good idea would be to say I equals 0 here, and then make this my I. Alright? Then now, do this, and append the next letter in the string S. Add one to it, and then take one of the pieces. Right? And then append that to T. Okay, these are getting a little complicated, so let me try explaining this slowly to you. The string T will be equal to the string T appended with the next letter of the I plus 1 letter, which is N. So, but before going any further, it's probably a wise idea to print and see what is T. So, what do you expect T to be? I becomes J and gets appended to T. N should become O and should get appended to T. Let's see what's happening. Perfect. I is becoming J, N is becoming O. So far, so good. Now, let's see what is next. That is to be done. I will fix this to make it easy, right? So I say T is equal to existing T, concatenate that with take the index of S of I plus 2, right? The next letter, and shift it by 1, take modulo 26, because in case it goes beyond Z, then it should rotate, as I explained, right? And then print JOE, as expected, right? T becomes E. Now, let me do it for I. Let me go slowly once again. I'm sorry, I'm being repetitive again in the interest of people who are seeing this for the first time. Please note, things will be just so that word OE to for cut here. Execute this. Okay, when I do that, you'll see that in a minute. I already explained that shift is getting complex, and you must fix them on the fly, right? So it was complex here. So point to note is things can get complex. Point number two, the moment you type whatever you type here, you must type it so many number of times here. Point number three is you can keep this k as a variable instead of putting it 1 here in k or 2 instead you can simply put k equals whatever number you want to execute it, you will get a shift. This is another quick importance of why use variables, right? Word like abracadabra, okay, it's a very long word, or such small case, this one, it's easily sort of codable by writing a piece of code. So what I will then do is instead of going this one by one letter at a time, right, one letter at a time, what I will do is I will tell the computer, go through these letters one at a time until you hit a dead end. Is a way to do that, right? And we'll be discussing that next week. But as of now, it is just a warm-up exercise for you all to understand that we can meddle around with strings like this. In fact, what we tried doing just now is popularly called the Caesar cipher.
Okay, for till now we don't know, like in as per the lecture, the students doesn't know about the for loop or while loop or anything, any loop. So that's why the instructor is telling us to repeat the lines, like add just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But after knowing the for loop or while loop, it would be very easy.
3, which is 3 shifts. Okay, this code, just write that down in the comment. This is what you can take a look at it. This is popularly called the Caesar cipher in cryptography. If you want someone to not read your messages, then you can shift it by a particular k and then use that k as a key and tell them that unless you shift back by k units, you will not know what the text is. Right? That's precisely what we did just now. We just did one way. The other way is to shift it back. You make a minus k here, right? And you'll get back the letter. Right? So you can try that out all by yourself, and that's it for, I would say this week. This is a slightly complicated example, but then don't worry, we have to introduce complexity somewhere, we use it here, things will get easier with time, and in fact you will be thrilled to see that this week the same code can be done. By the second of the third week, you'll be able to write this code in just a couple of months.
Alright, so now we are going to move to introduction to the if statement. If statement is very easy actually, because let me show you. So the person who are new here, so if is same as like a request came to you and you ask that particular person or to that request that whether you are hard or easy. If he replied that I am easy, then you take it and put it aside into the easy section. But if the request or the person says that I am very hard, so you are going to take that request and put it into the hard section. Okay, you can create multiple use cases out of it, like how much marks you got. So if you have gotten like greater than 90%, so I'm going to ask first that what's your marks. If it is falling above the 90, then I'm going to put it you in the group, in that particular group which is greater than 90. Then again to the second person I'm going to ask what is your score, and if he told me that I'm 50%, so I have created like you can create or I can create all kind of groups here, and then I'm going to take that number and see with which group this score or this number is matching. Okay, and then I'm going to put it into that particular stack or that particular list or that particular range. Okay, so that's pretty much it about if, but definitely the condition should be satisfied. So the syntax would be like if, and let's talk about name. So if name, I just want to know whether this name is containing s or not. Okay, if it contains s, then we are going to print Sudarshan contains s. If it doesn't contain s, then we are going to write Sudarshan does not contain s. Okay, so if s in name, then colon, then print s in the name. Okay, you can write it till this, or you can write it else and then print S is not in the name. So we have ran this particular code block and S is in the name. Now let's continue. So see what happened, I couldn't sleep last night, so that's why I just want to sleep badly, but I have to finish this. Just 2-3 lectures more and then I'm going to sleep. Okay, so just bear with me.
Let us now learn a very powerful possibility in any programming language, and that's called the if condition. So it is a very simple statement, but I'm not a big fan of explaining the syntax of what is what in a programming language. Instead, let us see a nice example from which it becomes obvious as to what we are trying to explain. Right? So here's an example. Let us consider the movie Avengers. Right? This is a 13 plus movie, which means only people who are 13 and above can watch it. The rating of the movie is called PG-13, stands for parental guidance, and one should be 13 plus years old. Right? So let us make a small piece of code which checks this. Right? Just to make it fun, I'm trying to use this example. Although this doesn't appear like something that we'll be doing in real life, why would you use a Python piece of code to check if someone's 13 plus or not? This is just to add some fun to the example. Right, so what I'm going to do is make it obvious. Right, I'll say print, please enter your date of birth. So now this, take birth year is equal to input. Right, we have discussed this. In fact, you can combine these two things onto a single line of code, but I prefer writing it like this. Alright, so it's easy on my mind. Okay, so you will enter your date of birth, and then I'll say current year. What's the current year? It's 2021. I'm not so sure in which year you're watching my video, but this video was recorded in 2021. So I'll put current year as 2021. Then, in fact, there's also ways in which you can actually put the current year as of that day. Right, the program is executed, but that's a little off-road, so we'll not take that road as of now. Let us go ahead and say age is equal to the obvious current year minus the birth year. Right? And then observe, if age is less than 13, then as I press enter, the cursor comes a little away from the beginning. See, that's called a tab character. You leave a tab like that. Okay, so my editor does it automatically. In fact, you should do it manually in case you are not using a nice environment like this. I'm using Spider here, in which I'm typing Python code. If you're using a simple editor, you have to type that tab manually. So details aside, what should we type here? And say print, you are underage. You cannot watch this movie. As I say, the more restrictions we put, more curious the kid becomes to watch the movie. Jokes aside, and then I say else, print, you are old enough to watch Avengers. Enjoy. Right? Perfect. So what exactly happens here? I'm executing it, and it says enter your date of birth. Assume I'm 2010 born, which I'm not, by the way. I'm 2010 born. It says it calculates, it computes that your age is indeed less than 13 because it's 2010. 2020 minus 2010 age happens to be 11 here, and 11 is less than 13. And it comes inside and says, hey, you are underage. You cannot watch this movie. All right? Which is precisely what it does here. Right? Okay. Let me re-execute this and try to see if I type my age greater than 13, will it let me watch the movie? Okay. So let me say execute this. Enter date of birth. I say 2000 is my date of birth. That makes me 21 years old. It says, you're old enough to watch Avengers, enjoy. So you clearly understand what exactly happened. In fact, there is no much of, there's no details here per se, right? I clearly say it's very sort of English-like a statement. I say, if age is less than 13, then do this. Else means what? If age is not less than 13, then whatever is inside this else, you will do this, right? And then please note, as you come out of this, and then say, print, have a nice time. Execute this, and take date of birth. I say 1990. It says, you're old enough to watch Avengers, enjoy. Have a nice time. Okay? If I again execute this and I say 2012, I become a 9-year-old kid, it says you're underage, you cannot watch this movie, it again says have a nice time. Have a nice time is said here too, which means irrespective of whether this line gets executed or this line gets executed, this part is definitely getting executed, right? So if something is true, then do this. Else means if it's not true, then do this. In fact, what you can do is you can test and see, what if you type another line here, print, wait until you are old enough to watch this movie. And stick this. You're old enough to watch Avengers, and which means your age is plain.
Okay, so this part is also completed. Now comes elif part. Yes, so I have already told you, like I can create multiple section or multiple groups where your marks will be in the section of greater than 90, then 80 to 90. This is second section. Then third section would be 70 to 80. Then fourth section would be 60 to 70. Then fifth section would be less than 60. So like this you can create multiple section. That's on you, and that's on requirement. Okay, so I guess I'm going to skip this part. Oh wait a second, it's 25 minutes, so I think I should go through it.
students. In this tutorial, we will see how to write Python codes for some common examples based on real-time applications using if, else, and else if conditions. Let's look at this first problem statement. Find whether the given number is even or odd. In addition to that, some test cases are given. We are supposed to execute our Python code using this given set of inputs and check whether we are getting the expected output or not. Now let's open a Python editor and try to write Python code which checks whether the given number is even or odd. As it says, the given number, which means we have to accept some number from the user. In order to do so, we write one function called input. This particular message which says enter a number will be displayed when we execute this particular Python code. Now, this input can be of any data type, but as we can see here, in order to find even or odd, we require an integer. In order to convert entered input into integer, we have to write one function called int. Now, this particular line will accept the number from user and convert it to integer, but for further processing, we should store this number into some variable. Now, we have to check whether the given number is even or odd. As we know, any number is even. All the given test cases matches exactly with the outputs what we are getting through our Python code, which indicates that our Python code is correct. Now let's move on to next problem statement. Find whether the given number ends with 0 or 5 or any other number. This is a little bit more trickier than the previous question. Here we have to check what is the last digit in the given number, whether if and now I'll give you the expected output, that means the written code is correct. Now let's move on to next problem statement. Find the grade of student based on the given marks from 0 to 100. Send the answer. Name error. Name marks is not defined. Now this is happening because we have made a typing mistake while using the variable name marks. Over here you can see even the line number is mentioned, which is line number 6, which is this particular line. Let's correct the mistake and try to execute the code. Marks 95 and the grade is A, which is correct. Next 87, that's B. 70, it is C. 61 is D. 0 is E. 100 is A. Minus 5, we are getting output as E, but the expected output says invalid input. Now, this is the place where we have missed something. Because as the problem statement says, find the grade of student based on the given marks from 0 to 100, which means any number smaller than 0 or greater than 100 should be termed as invalid input. Now, in order to accommodate this particular condition, where the marks should be entered in the range of 0 to 100, we should check all these if conditions currently available in the code only when the marks value is in between 0 to 100. That means, if marks greater than equal to 0 and marks less than equal to 100, then only we should execute all these conditions. Otherwise, we will print invalid input. Now let's try this modified Python code with those test cases. Let's try to enter minus 5 again. Invalid input as expected. Let's try some higher number also. 110. Again, invalid input. Now all our conditions are correct. Now, as all our test cases are giving us expected output, which means now this code is correct. As I mentioned earlier, in this tutorial, we will see one more concept called else if. Let's try to introduce that else if concept with this particular problem statement. As you can see over here, every condition inside first if block requires an AND operation of two different conditions. This particular thing is required to make sure all the students who are counted for A grade does not appear again in B grade. This particular thing can be achieved using a different kind of conditional statement called else if, where the second block gets executed only if first block does not satisfy the given condition. Let's try to convert this code using else if block. Else if. When we add that else if, this particular part becomes redundant, hence it can be removed. Similar thing can be done over here and here. As we are using this if, else if, we should convert the last code also as simply else. Now let's try to analyze this updated version of the Python code. It checks whether the marks greater than 90. If that's the case, it will print A. If not, which is else if marks greater than equal to 8. When this particular condition, mine, yellow blocks represent that we have to print the given statement. Whereas we have those three if conditions where we have to take some decision based on the values, which means we have to accept a user input for time and those two price if blocks. Whenever we get the time input from the user, we also have to determine whether the entered time by the user is considered to be longer or shorter. As the words longer and shorter are relative terms, we also have to ask the user what exactly the word longer signifies over here. Because for one person, longer means may have a different value, whereas for different user, it will have a different value. Hence, it's better to keep that as a variable and accept that as well from the user. Similar thing is required for price if condition, where the prices higher and lower has to be accepted from the user. Now let's try to write a Python code which represents this particular flow, except tables. If time is greater than equal to longer, then if of or lower, we will
ओके गाइस दैट्स प्रीटी मच इट। मेरे को नहीं लगता कि ये दोनों भी ख़त्म हो पाएगा। आगे बस इंपोर्ट करना है लाइब्रेरी को, डिफरेंट वेज टू इंपोर्ट द लाइब्रेरी एंड देन कंक्लूजन। सो आई गेस आई एम गोइंग टू कॉल इट ऑफ फॉर टुडे। सो सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन। हैव अ ग्रेट डे अहेड, हैव अ ग्रेट नाइट अहेड। जय श्री राम।